do you want to separate at least one room? I believe it's a good thing, right? Separate. We will have two rooms, one breakout room and the main room. I'll do that because we are here in 8 people. Let's see, we'll have two breakout rooms and automatically. Okay, so we'll be just us here. Okay, so I've separated a breakout room. So if you got an invitation, oh wait a minute, I've made a mistake. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get it started again. So if you got an invitation, please go
Sorry.
there. No problem. So Genemis, Genemis, did you got an invitation? Genemis, can you hear me?
Repeat, please.
Did you get an invitation to go to the breakout room?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you later. All right, so let's get started. I'd like to ask Kayla the first question. Kayla, please introduce yourself and tell us how do you study the numbers in English?
My name is Kayla. I'm 45 years old. I'm owner. I work with marketing and design. I have 2 sons, and that's it.
Great, great. Can you tell us how do you study the numbers in English?
I don't.
Do you study actually?
Sometimes I do exercises at Duolingo. At Duolingo.
Okay, this is the only way that you study the numbers in English, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Let me check one question here. Okay, James. Great. So thank you, Kayla. Let's ask Elias. Elias, how's it going? Can you please answer the first question to us?
Okay, I'm Elias, I'm 37. I work with IT since 2015, 2008, 15 years. Nowadays, I work in a insurance company. I'm married, I have no pets, I have no kids. I've been here talk since last year, but in 2022, I have already studied here in Talk and returned back again last year. Okay, actually, nowadays I don't study numbers in English, specific numbers. I study English. Uh, uh, is, uh, I study on Imersão on TikTok in another course that I have already started before TikTok, but I don't study specifically numbers. Um, I have a difficulty to speak ordinal numbers in English. Sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, ordinal numbers are harder than cardinal because there's a slight difference between them. So yeah, I agree with you. Great, thank you,
Yes,
Elias.
I hate the TF sounds at the end.
Okay, so thank you. What about you, Julissa? Can you please answer the first question?
I introduce myself. Yeah.
Yes, please
Okay.
introduce yourself and tell us how do you study
Okay,
the numbers in
okay.
English?
Okay, my name is Julice, but you can call me Ju. I am 31 years old. I live in Fortaleza, Ceará, with my 2 pets. I work as a QA analyst. I joined the Talk at the end of December last year to learn speak and listen in English. That's it. I don't prolong myself. Okay. I don't know. I don't study specifically numbers, but I remember I was a teenager in the course English. The teacher made exercises. You use the dezena, more the number 1, 2, 3. I learned that this. Yeah, that is.
Okay. Now now that you said dezena, I realized that I don't know how to refer to unidade, dezena, centena. I have to make a little research about that because I really don't know how to talk about it. Thank you, Joyce. Jenimis, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I closed your video. If you feel free to enable it again because you wasn't there. So if you want to answer the first question, if you want to turn on your video again, please feel free.
Okay. I cannot start video.
Well, let me see if I here. Now I believe you will be able to do
Okay.
it. Great.
I leave, but I hear because I use my headphone. The question one, I'm James. I live in Paraíba, Cajazeira City. I'm a software engineer since in 2012. I'm married. I have 3 kids. And that's it. About the study number, I don't study number because I don't study English. I only participate for immersions on Talk and Talk. I don't learn grammar. I don't learn numbers. But I know some numbers because English is more easy because you can how can say juntar.
To put together, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on the context. What you want to say. Say that in Portuguese, and we can figure out how can we say
For
that.
example, this year is 2012 4 is easy.
I understand. So regarding that, years matter. We have a couple of rules actually, or it depends on the region that you are talking or that you're living. They have a couple of difference between, but it's okay. It's okay. So have you never studied English before?
I try WhatsApp, but I I I don't I dislike this methodology. Um, I lost 6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
I understand. Okay. So let me see. We have Julissa. So I believe everybody has answered the first question, right? Except of me. Actually, let me say how I study the numbers in English. I have a curious technique. I first of all I focus on units to learn how to say units, and I practice out loud. For example, I go out there driving or riding my motorcycle, and I start to say out loud the license plates of every car or motorcycle that I see. So, for example, if he stops a motorcycle in front of mine, I try to speak out loud the numbers unit by unit. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when this is automatic to me, I try to start talking about decimals. Aqueles dezenas, we say decimals. I found out.
Thank you.
And then I start like license plates are very random. So I have 13, 24, 82, you know, and so that's how I can practice speaking out loud. How can I say the numbers in English? And then when I am okay, when it's almost automatic, I start to learn how to say the cents. For example, 122, 586, something like that. So that's how I try to practice, or I try to learn the numbers in whatever language that I try to speak. Like I know how to say the numbers in English, Spanish, French, and German. So that's how I learn. It's my technique. It's a personal technique. So this works for me, and it's a really good technique, especially for that people that have to go outside, have to drive a lot of time during the week. So this is how I study the numbers in English, and also the pronunciation of the alphabet letters, because we have some letters in the license plates. And I believe it's a good way to practice because we have random numbers and random data uh, within the traffic. So that's it. Let's jump to the second question, and I'd like to ask Elias. Actually, I believe we can jump to the third question. Elias, do you find it easier to learn numbers through visuals or by listening to them?
Uh, I think it's easier to learn by visual, through visuals, because I can associate the number with the sound, or the number with the quantity. I don't know, or the number with the numbers in Portuguese. Because if I only heard the sound, uh, I I can't see associate the numbers.
I understand. Well, actually, it's a tricky question because sometimes it's best to combine visuals with listening. But okay, let's try to answer anyway. Julius, what do you think about the third question?
Well, at first, I use visuals, and before I listen. It's similar. The similar learned when I was a child. You know, it's the similar. In the beginning, it's the visual, and before the listening. That's it.
Okay. It's a combination. It's impossible to learn
Yes,
only
yes.
one way. But to me, it's hard to understand when some people say a number, because visual, it's okay. We know the symbol and it's easier to us to understand. But when someone said a number, we have a lot of different, how can how can I talk about that? We have a lot of different accents, different ways to speak. So I believe it's a little bit harder to learn and to understand the numbers by listening to them. Okay, thank you. Genemis, are you there? Genemis, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I guess not.
I'm not the. Uh, I don't practice methods. I only participate on immersions, on talk and talk.
I understand. So don't you feel that would be good, something good to practice some numbers, or don't you have any difficulties with understanding and remember the numbers?
I have difficulty on fractions or decimal numbers. Oh, giant numbers is more difficult. But in my day, I don't use it. It's hardly in case of use this.
I understand. I understand. Got it. Okay, thank you, Jenimis. What about you, Kayla?
Well, I don't know because we need both to learn, yeah. And when we watch classes, generally we use the two methods, visual and listening to. Yes. One is the complement of other, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes we find easier one or the other, but of course we need the both to understand and to learn. So
Listening is just a little hard,
harder.
harder because the sound, né? How can I say, diferenciar,
To differentiate.
to differentiate
Yeah,
sound
it could be tricky to understand if it was a 14 or a 40
yeah,
or even
14.
yeah. And it's even worse when we go to the ordinal numbers like 84 for 85th. So actually, ordinal numbers are even difficult in our native language. So it's difficult no matter which language are we trying to speak. So it's
I
something.
think ordinal, it's harder than harder. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Well, what do you think about if someone here who read a question and then answer? I believe we can start by Julisi. Can you read the fourth question to us? Listen, note, I just said an ordinal number, the fourth question. It's automatic. And now I notice that I said the fourth number. Julissa, can you please read the fourth question to us and answer it?
Okay. What tips do you have for remembering numbers in English?
And if you don't have any tip, I don't know, maybe a suggestion you can do. So,
And I don't know because I learned this when I was a teenager. And for me, it's more. I don't remember, and for me, it's more as it's normally. So, but she okay. I don't speak much numbers in my day, but I don't know. Yes, you use the decimal in the complementary unit, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But ordinal, I don't know. I count. I know count ordinal. Uh,
Until
I
10?
don't think. No, three.
First, second,
30.
three only.
Yeah, first, second, three, one, three.
First, second, and third. I'm sorry. My
Yeah.
bad.
Okay. First and second only.
Only, okay. Don't you have the wish or the desire to learn the numbers? I don't know. Or it's not something that it's on your roadmap or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because this immersion, I will to learn ordinal numbers. I need this.
Yeah, with the cardinal is okay. Like
Yes,
one,
but
two, three.
ordinal no. I remember in the last immersion, I I question you about the decades, you know? uh, 18, 18 years, 19 years. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't
I
remember. I
remember
don't remember what
because
I had in the lunch.
yeah, because oh my God, because I learned the numbers. I think I learned the decades years because you listen now, you speak.
Yeah, now I remember. Like to refer to a year, specific year, like 1991 or
Yes.
2006. Okay, yeah, now I can recall. I recall that. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of things we have to learn, and it's hard to be, I don't know, on track with everything, but there are something that we can consider like basics, like when we are talking with other people in English, sometimes we can say we will need to speak about a number, specific number. So it's something that we have to care about regarding our learning learning English status. So that's it. Great. So, Jenimis, how can I adapt this question? Which tips, what tips would you try, or I don't know, what techniques would you try to learn numbers? Let's suppose you have to learn the numbers until the next month. How would you do that? I believe
Uh,
this way is easier to answer this question, right?
in some case, I read numbers in Portuguese. Uh, it's more easy for my case because I use the numbers only when I read the technical book, I read the tutorial article in the internet on the internet.
So you don't think it would be a good thing to learn how to say, to pronounce the numbers in English?
In some case, I pronounce it in Portuguese.
I understand. Okay, great. What about you, Kayla? If you have the need to learn, like in a month, the numbers in January in English, what would you do? How would you do to learn the numbers?
Uh, it's
It's
the
not, it's
question
not,
for.
it's not,
Is
no,
it the
no, it's
question
not.
for?
No, actually, I'm trying to adapt because, as far as I understand, you don't have study the numbers in English, until now. So it's something that, because, it's hard to give a tip if we don't, have these, if we don't have work on these before. So I'm trying
I
to adapt this question
I
to our
have just
reality.
one tip in my case because I always confuse hundred and thousand. When I need to
Mm.
talk, I always confuse. And I remember that the letter H, né, came in the alphabet came before T, the letter T of thousand. So hundred is, né, um número menor, é 100, né? Means 100 em português, and thousand, it's mil.
Like a meal.
Like
Can
mil, like mil.
can I confuse you a little bit? I just typed a number right now in the chat. Can you see that? How would you say that number? It's a two, a five, a zero, a zero. How would you say that number? 2,500?
Two, 2000,
500. It's
five,
how it's
two,
how yeah,
500,
yeah.
2500.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people in US that they says 2,500 to refer to that number.
I like this contraction.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you know
it's
that,
easier.
Elias?
Yes,
25.
it's easier.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say instead of 2,500, they say 25. No, no, instead of say 2,500, they said uh, 2,500.
Yeah, I didn't
Like,
know that. I didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
interesting. There's a lot of movies that we see something like that, or even let me see, 42, like 4,200 instead of 4,200. So it's a bit confusing, but sometimes when you are watching a movie or watching a series or even I don't know, a TED Talk, a simple video on YouTube, you can notice that a lot of people says the numbers like that. So it could be confusing, but it's something, yes, 2,500, exactly. That's how
It
they say.
is the structure that Julie told 1995, for example. It's just 2 years. It's
Yes, yes.
just used 2 years.
For years, depending on the
4 years.
region. Yeah, for years, depending on the region that you are talking about. For example, if you're talking about Australia or if you're talking about England or about US, I believe each region has its own rules to talk about years. So to the 90s, we have a different way, 19 or 1990, for example, but to the 2000s, we have from 2000 to 2009, we have a way to speak, and from 2010 to 2020, we have a different way to speak. So it's a little bit confusing, and we need to go further. We need to go to study a lot to understand and to don't make mistakes. But yeah, Elias, I was about to ask you, and yes, there's a lot of people that say the numbers in a row, like only the units. So we can say 105 instead of 105. If the zero is in the middle of other numbers, other units, we can say then O. And even we can say double O or triple, for example, if we have this number 999, we can say triple nine. There's a song, an old song, pop song that the boy, it's from Soulja Boys. The boy says his number, phone number, and he says 678 triple nine 8212. It's his number. Like how, if you ask you my number in Portuguese, I have a way to say like in two or in decent. I forgot usually how to say decimals. In decimals, it's not decimals. Decimals, like 91, 82, blah, blah, blah. Or I can say blocks of three, but uh, people in general can use this kind of tricky ways to say their numbers. So 999, 105, 2,500. So there's a lot of things to study regarding numbers. It's it's almost unbelievable how the amount of ways we have to say the same thing. So we have to study more and more.
Yeah.
Elias, do you like this way to say the numbers like 2,500 or something like that?
Yes, I like it. It's easier. I learned these, let's say, these contractions, this to say numbers when I watch a series called 4400. I didn't know. Then when what's this? I do a research and I learned that we can use it
Yeah,
105, 106, 4 years. Like you said, 1996, 2023. I I use these contracts 2023, 2024, 2020. I don't say 2000 and 2 and 12. Only 2020.
Yeah, it's there's as we said before, there's a lot of different ways to say, and in general, in a daily basis, people can use a lot of different ways. So you notice it in a series, right? You told us you said this year that you notice it, but yes, it's really tricky, and it's good to know actually that because when I found out that they had this way to talk about numbers, I was like, oh, really? Seriously? So all that I've learned until now in the school, I won't use because people say this way, the numbers this way. So that's how I felt that time. But okay, it's okay. So let's go ahead. Let me see which question we can use right now. Jenimis, can you please read the fifth question to us and answer it?
Jeremy's wrote in the chat.
Oh, let me see something. Plugin product. So, okay. Wow, work. Okay.
Bugging project.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So let's jump to you, Elias. Can you please read and answer the fifth question to us? Question number 5.
Okay. How do you handle challenges when you learn numbers? I don't know. I don't know because I'm not studying numbers.
That's
Yeah,
what I
but
said when we're talking about this
yeah,
question because but okay, go ahead.
yeah. But I have to study ordinal numbers. It's very difficult for me.
Okay, great. Elias. So let me see. Kayla, how do you handle how would you handle challenges when learning numbers? It's hard to answer that one.
I I just know that I needed to study more.
Yeah. Actually, I believe it's
to make progress because for me it's very, very difficult.
yeah, I understand. So what I would do here in this case is like separate things. Like let me learn how to pronounce the units of cardinal numbers. Okay, and then I study like 2 weeks about cardinal numbers. Oh, I'm good in cardinal numbers. Let's try to say decimals and cents. Okay, I'm good in decimal units, decimals, and cents in cardinal. Let's start to study ordinal numbers. And I would go back to units, okay, 1 or 2 weeks, and then the decimals, and then cents, and something like that. So it's impossible to learn everything on the same day, on the same week. So I would split the learning in a learn path, and I would try to be regular, like study at least 10 minutes every single day to make a little progress every single day. I don't know. That's how I would approach to learn the numbers in English.
Until 100 it's okay, but more than this it's confusing.
I believe it's only a matter of practice because it's a combination,
Yeah,
like 100, 200,
yeah.
but it's a matter of practice, not a matter of ability or capacity, something like that.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Julissa? How would you handle challenges when learning numbers? What do you think about this question?
Mm. Well,
Mm.
I try. I will learn the ordinal numbers. I have a question. How do you say numbers have decimals? I speak in Portuguese. Okay,
No problem.
I put in the chat. How do you say this?
It's a comma. like 5,25, but in general they say 5.25. Like, oh, I have, let me get an example. Liters, like I am fueled my car. So I filled my car with 10.5 liters. So 10,5, 10 litros e meio, or 10.5 liters, something like that. So in general,
Okay.
people say point, they use point
Okay.
to talk about a number with. I forgot how to mention this number even in Portuguese. It's not rational and not natural. No, I'm not able to say this kind of. It's a fraction number, but okay. So we can use 5,25 in this case because there's a comma there. Or if you want to use the point, you can say 5.25. That's how
Okay.
that's how I would say. I don't know if it's 100% right, but that's how I would express this number in my when I'm speaking English.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a challenge. Actually, we
Yes.
actually can take advantage of YouTube because, for instance, if we have to talk about an IP address, you know, an IP address, you
No.
work endereço IP. You work with
Oh,
technology. For example,
yes.
how does people speak? How do people speak or say an IP address like 192.168.0.20? You know, so in general, when I have a challenging to understand how to say something, I try to go to YouTube and I tried to find out a video talking about this subject to see how the people speak about that or how the people say this number. So that's how I can work around a challenge when I don't know how to say something or how to speak something. And fortunately, Genius is back. So Genius, did you make an update
I know.
without where?
Bugging pro after 6 p.m. bugging prod.
He just restarted the server.
It's a good tip. I use this watching videos. Yeah, it's a good tip.
Oh, I thought that you would restart the server.
What does it
Yes,
mean,
I
bugging
jumped
fraud?
to
What does
server.
it mean?
No,
But
actually they work with software development, I guess. So when you are developing a code, when you are writing a code, and you have this code already deployed in an environment. I mean, for example, one page, web page. You have your web page from your store, and there's an error. We can say, oh, this is a bug because uh, a long time ago,
no,
when we use valves in computers, if a bug or a mosquito go there, it could cause a problem. So we have people there to clean, to remove the bugs, or to do the debug, remove the bugs. So it is a quote. Okay, Elias, it's a quote. So we can say, oh, I am debugging the code. So you are cleaning the code, you are working on the code to fix things, something like that. So when you have your web page accessible in the internet, I guess, we can say your web page is in production. And if you have a problem or a trouble in your page, you have a bug in prod, something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
when Instagram don't function, I don't
Don't
say
Don't
work.
this.
work.
Don't
Don't.
work. It's a bug in project.
Yeah, they are having troubles. It could be a problem like infrastructure or whatever, but it could be a problem in the code. It could be a bug. That's why she said bug in prod.
And you call the
Hey.
Genemis.
So Jenimis asked us to hold a little moments because he had a problem in his work. Do you work with IT, right, Jenimis?
Yeah, I'm
Are-
software engineer.
So yes, he probably had a problem with the code or something like that. So he was fixing the things there on his work. Okay, Genevieve, we were talking about challenges and learning numbers, but considering that you are not studying numbers, I believe you don't have any challenges, right?
My challenge is really the big numbers. The big numbers, I don't have, I don't know, and I passionate is split the big number in dozens, dozens.
No, actually, it's
Uh,
decimal. I learned it this night, tonight. It's units, decimals, and cents.
yeah,
I didn't know it.
and decimals and point, the dot decimal is difficult, and the fractions is very, very hard.
Yeah, I have the same difficulty. But I believe the best way to deal with these challenges is practicing and studying every single day until we achieve a good level of understanding of the numbers. That's only my opinion about that. And it's good to talk about something that we haven't how can I say this? We haven't realized that it's a problem in our English. So I believe it's a good opportunity to us to understand what's the next, what we have to learn again, what we have to learn in the next step. So it will be good to study. And well, we have back Joaquin and Priscilla. So
Yes,
how was the conversation?
it was nice, good conversation. We spoke a lot about numbers, but Mars we had maybe a problem because he got,
He left.
yeah,
I noticed that he left and he
maybe
didn't,
he had some problem.
yeah, he didn't try to back up. So I don't know what's happening. Okay. What about you, Priscilla? It was a good conversation.
Yes, it's a very good conversation. This topic is so good because I have a little problem about that. I need to practice more, and I like it, talk about that. And this moment, I enjoy the moment. So good.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, we were talking about the difficulties, the challenges that we have learning numbers. It's not that easy, and we have cardinal, we had ordinal numbers. It's really hard to understand and to practice it, but it's necessary. And well, people, I've just shared the survey link. Please evaluate our conversation here. If you don't like something, please add what's your suggestion to improve. And we have more 10 minutes to talk about numbers. Here, Priscilla and Joaquin, here in the main room, we were talking about how people are used to say long numbers. Like I gave an example in the chat. I just typed it again.
My
It's a
gosh,
number. It's a number 2,600. So
2,600. My gosh.
yeah, there's a lot of ways to say the same information. Like we can say in units, like
Mm-hmm.
2600 or 2600, or the regular way, like 2,600. Or there are some people that say 2,600, and this is really
Oh.
hard to understand.
Yeah,
So
I understand. It's more easy when I compare than when I compare in Portuguese numbers because you only have you need it's a long pronunciation, yeah.
yeah,
It's
so Elias think the same way. Elias agree with you that it's easier to understand to talk like that. I mean, uh, it's interesting, and we also have the original numbers that it's to me it was a really big problem. Now I have overcome it, but in the beginning, it was really hard to me to understand and to learn the ordinal numbers. So it's at the end of the day, we have to study until the last day of our lives, I believe. So there will always be something that we don't know, something that we need to dig further. So it's hard to leave, and it's harder when we want to learn something or when we want to be better than yesterday. So that's my thought on that. Well, I believe we can talk about in a future meeting, we can talk about the time, the hours and dates. What do you think? Do you have any difficulty on that, Kayla? I saw you, I saw you're nodding.
Yeah, it's more than numbers. I have more difficult than numbers.
Actually, you need the numbers to talk about the time, so it's
Because
tricky.
I don't, for example, now it's 16, no, 8, 18, 50,
1853, or
1853. But there is another manner, form to set this.
another way.
Como a gente fala, vai, 10 para 7.
You can
É
say
10,
7 next to 19 or 7 next to 7. In the joking case, it's different. It's like we are 6 next to 10, right? Joking
6 to 10.
6 to 10, yeah. Or 9 54.
54.
Yes. So there's a lot of different ways to talk about numbers. Yeah. So I believe I will try to put something together to a future meeting to us to talk about the hours.
E quando falas 10, 7, 10 past 7,
7, 10. 7, 10. 10 passados de 7.
okay.
Something like that. For
Yes,
example,
I think this way to say the hours, 10 past 7, a quarter to 7, a half past 10. It sounds quality, but it's a little older. Nowadays, I think people say just the numbers 6:30, 6:20, 6:12, 6:15. I think it's
exactly.
easier.
It's enough, and it's
Yes,
enough. Everybody
enough.
will understand. Everybody will understand. But there's a lot of different ways to say it, so you can hear it out there on the street. So it's good to know how to say. And regarding dates, we have our Brazilian way to talk about dates, and we have the American way to talk about dates. So they invert month with day, and they use ordinal numbers to refer to a day. Like today is Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. So yes, in Brazil we say, oh, today is January 17, or in Portuguese, we say 17 de janeiro. But in English, in American English, they don't say 17th of January. They use a different way to refer to dates. So yeah, it's something that we have to understand, or we have to study a little bit more, because it can be tricky. And also we need the numbers. We need to understand the numbers to talk about dates and talk about the time. So it's hard, people.
Yes.
It's really, really hard. Okay. Well, we have 3 minutes left. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any, I don't know, suggestions to a theme, to a subject of the next immersions? What do you think? Actually, I apologize if I made some mistakes here, because it's been really, really hard to me to be a host. I don't know why. Feeling a bit nervous. but okay. Nobody has noticed until now. Well, people, I believe that's it. We have some more questions, but I'm sure we don't have enough time to answer the last one. So, um, what can I say right now? I believe we can say goodbye. We can wish everybody a good night, a nice sleep. Oh, there's a way that people use out there. They say have a good one. I discovered it a few days ago. Instead of say have a good night, have a good day, they say have a good one. It's interesting. Have you ever heard about it?
No,
No,
have a good one. Have a good one.
A
Yeah.
good
Good
one.
one.
Oh,
One,
good.
one.
one, one
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, have a good one. Google it. Have a good one expression.
One.
What's the meaning of have a good one? Tem bom.
Oh,
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah.
thanks for sharing.
So
Very good.
try to Google it. Have a good one expression. What's the meaning of have a good one expression? And you find out that a lot of people use it in a daily basis, like in an informal situation. So it's a way to say goodbye. It's a way to do the farewell. So it's also something that we can talk about greetings and farewell. There's a lot of things to learn. Well, every sentence that I say here, I finish saying that we have to study more and more. So I'm being tired. I've been tired of it. Okay, people. So I wish you have a good night and have a good one.
Have a good one.
I see you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
See